What's up everyone? Today in this video we're gonna do a Q&A. Earlier during the week I asked throughout my social medias for people to send in random questions that they have for me and I'm gonna answer them in a video. Most of them are gonna be related to modeling because that's what it seemed like most people were interested in, but all questions were welcome, so let's get started. So I have my phone here with all the screenshots of the questions, so I'm just gonna go through and read them. And the very first one that I have is from Alexandra, aka Alexander_Ford on Instagram. And what she asks is, what is the funniest or most embarrassing or most horrifying experience while modeling? I shared this story before in a previous video, but I think most people haven't seen it. So my very first walk in LA Fashion Week ever that I had done, I was walking on the runway and I was wearing a chain link outfit. So the outfit was completely made out of like chainmail, and it was a skirt, a top, and a scarf. And I was wearing pasties underneath so that my nipples wouldn't show through. And the chainmail, just being as abrasive as it is, it rubbed up against it and made the pasty fall off as I was walking on the runway. And it landed, it didn't fall off onto the floor and just fall by the wayside, no. It got stuck onto the skirt of the outfit. I was like, that's my look. The very first time I walk in a runway show, an official runway show, I have my pasty fall out, which is kind of embarrassing because that's a very hard thing to edit out for some people. So a lot of pictures I got back had pasties on them, so that's why you haven't seen so many of those. The next question is from a family friend. His name is Eric, and he asks, what inspiration have you gotten from your parents? They have always been there for you. Can you imagine life without their guidance and love? No, I cannot imagine life without their guidance and love. Like, honestly, I don't know where I would be without my parents. They are very supportive. They always support me and my brother on our dreams. They're understanding. They never told us that we couldn't be anything or couldn't, achieve what we wanted to. They came to all our stuff when they could. They've always been supportive people. And what inspiration I've gotten from my parents is, okay, so for my dad, having a very strong work ethic. I got that from my father. He's a very, very strong person, very hardworking, and I get that from him. I kind of try to use that as inspiration. And from my mother, she inspires me to share more because she always wants to know more about what I do. She always wants to be as supportive as possible, always wants to hear about my day if I'm on a modeling job, always wants to know what I'm up to. So it helps me to open up a little bit more because that can be tough for me. The next question is from my friend Mallory, which you guys should check out her music YouTube channel, which is called Onyx Michelle, I believe. I will link it in the description box. But her question is, if you could walk in any show, whose would it be? Who are your top 3 style icons? How would you describe Amber Rosario as a brand? First, I would walk in the Fenty by Puma show because that's obviously Rihanna's fashion line, and I love Rihanna, so that's a no-brainer right there. Also, Balmain, or Balmain, I think that's how you pronounce his stuff. He has really, really beautiful, very structured pieces, but also he can do very nice flowy things as well, which is awesome to see. And for the third person, the third designer, I guess I would say Marchesa. I mean, I'm not absolutely dying to be in a show, but that designer has some beautiful stuff. Like, beautiful. It's crazy how, I don't know, just well put together his stuff is. So that would be a really cool one to talk for too. Okay, so my top 3 style icons are Rihanna, obviously. That's pretty much number 1 because like I said before, I love Rihanna. Number 2 would be Zendaya, or Zendaya Coleman. She's a former Disney star. She has such impeccable style. It's crazy, especially for someone her age. Whoever her stylist is does a wonderful job, and I would love to have all her clothing. And thirdly, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but I do take a lot of inspiration from a more tomboy, chic kind of style. So that fusion is what I feel most comfortable wearing. So that would be my third inspiration as far as style goes. And your last question, Mallory, is how would I describe myself as a brand? I always have this in the captions of most of my social media, but I think this is a great way to describe myself as a brand, is as a woman working to fulfill her dreams and act upon her beliefs. And then obviously I go on to describe myself as a professional athlete, professional model, and content creator, because I make YouTube videos, blog posts, and I put out stuff on social media. So that's how I describe myself as a brand. I'm a woman working to fulfill my dreams and act upon my beliefs. And hopefully that is apparent to you guys. The next question is from Veronica, and she asks, what was the hardest trial you had to overcome as a model so far? You know, modeling, luckily, because I started at a later age in life, didn't take so much from me mentally, which I'm very appreciative of. But it's an industry that is very cutthroat, so it's hard not to be affected by some of the stuff. So for me, I guess the hardest thing I had to overcome is just accepting that the success that I may reach may not be what I want it to look like. I may not be able to, you know, walk in Europe and New York and Paris. Well, that's covered in Europe, but in Paris and all those other places, because they want somebody who's even skinnier than me. And, you know, I may not book all the commercials, and I may not be able to do as many jobs because I'm quite tall for the market out here in LA. I have big feet, which can also be a hindrance. And things like that. I mean, I kind of thought going into modeling that if I got the right agency, I would be booking everything. Everyone would want to work with me. They would love my look. I would be so popular everywhere over, you know, the next supermodel. And I'm not saying that stuff won't ever happen, but my success is looking a lot different. I'm finding more success in fitness modeling. I don't think I ever thought that that would be something that would be so successful for me, at least not when I was younger, you know. The next question is from Eliza or Alyssa. I don't know how she pronounces her name, but it could be pronounced either way. But I'm gonna go with Eliza because Eliza Rose sounds really nice. That's her name on Instagram, by the way. She asked me, what is it like to be a tall girl? Sincerely, a short girl. Being a tall girl is interesting. When you're younger and you're tall, you may feel like, oh, I don't want to be tall. I hate being tall. I'm taller than all the boys. Yada, yada, yada. But I know for me, at least, as I got older, I was like, I love being tall. So many people wish I could be tall. It's a lot of fun. You get to see over everyone, which is actually quite handy a lot of times. And I don't know. I just find it a cool club to be a part of. I'm sure you can understand the nuances as far as being different because you're a short girl and not everyone's short. Some of the hassles are a lot of times you have big feet when you're tall. I have big feet. You have long limbs. Now I'm a tall person. I'm quite proportionate, but I still have really long limbs, long legs, and long arms, and that can be hard when you're trying to find clothing that fits you. All right, and the next question is from a good friend named Win, and his first question is, given your recent success with getting picked up by a new agency, what are some of the biggest lessons you have learned thus far as being a model that you will apply to the rest of your life? You know, I guess what I've learned so far is to really appreciate the moments and take it in while you're doing it, because since I've been signed with them, I've been doing a lot more. I've been a lot more busy. And I've gotten, just this past week, to do one of the biggest jobs I've ever done. And as I was there on set, you know, a lot of times you're sitting there just waiting around, waiting for your turn or whatever. And I had to remind myself, like, dude, you're in an opportunity that you've been wanting since you've started modeling. So take this moment in. Don't get irritated by sitting around. Don't, you know, I know you may be in pain or whatever, but just push through and enjoy this experience, because things like this are going to be a memory as soon as you know it. Okay, and then for the second question, Win asks is actually a good question, and it is, what's the most embarrassing thing that you own? I have a collection of The Sims, like the video game The Sims. I used to be such a fan. Actually, I still am, but I'm just a lot busier, so I don't have a lot of time to play it. But dude, call me a mega fan, because I had all the expansion packs, all the little things you can do with Sims. I was there, I was with it. I could play that for hours, like embarrassingly long hours. I guess that's the only way that I really see it as embarrassing. And the last question is from Allegra Messina, who is Messina Photos on Instagram. She has some awesome photos, so check her out. But the last question is, what is the funniest / oddest casting that you have been to? The oddest casting would have to be the one for bear painting. And it wasn't like that strange, but I guess what they had us do was a little bit strange. So they had us come into a room, maybe 4 or 5 of us, and pretend that we were painting a wall. Like not even turning around and using the actual wall to paint, but standing with no wall in front of us, just air, and act like we're having fun and talking to each other and painting a wall with the possibility of being casted in their commercial. And it was just quite interesting because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm having so much fun, I'm painting a wall, I'm looking good while I'm doing it. Like, that's kind of a hard thing to look normal while you're doing, so that was a little bit weird. Okay guys, so that wraps it up. Thank you for everyone who sent in questions. Oh wait, I have another question that one of my friends asked me, and it's, I don't even know why I'm doing this. One of my friends asked me, his name is Aquila, he asked me, why is Aquila so awesome? Go away, Aquila. Go home. Like, go home, Roger. Go home, Aquila. Alright, so this is the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you guys for checking out the vid, submitting questions, and everything else. Thank you for the support. If you have any further questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I will link some information in the description box of this video, so check that out. And until next time, y'all, I will see you guys later. Oh, if you ever want to see any further info and more in-depth info about my life as a professional athlete and model, check out my website. It is amberrosario.com. I have some cool stuff there, and you may be seeing something a little bit special pretty soon. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys later. Peace. What's up, everyone? I'm here right now making a video about 4 or 5 different ways that social